Hi there! Well, today's video is going to be all about my hand and nail care routine. I'm going to be talking about my favorite products and just sort of going through how I do an at-home manicure. So recently I had seen a few video topics be requested several times over, so I put it to a vote on Instagram, and this is the one that you said that you would most like to see. The other two videos that were up for vote were my everyday hair care styling routine and then also my diet and exercise. So those didn't win this time around, but I will get to those videos eventually, so if you did vote for those, I'm not going to not do them. It just won't be the first one that I do. So let's just go ahead and start talking about my nail care products. So I thought I would talk to you about the products I like first and then show you about how I go about my nail care routine after that. So this is something that I talked to you about a little while back. It might have been even a couple of years ago at this point, but I have this little manicure kit that I like to keep all of my supplies in, so that if I decide to do a manicure indoors, outdoors, anywhere in my house, I have everything that I need right here and I don't have to go looking for anything, and then it's portable as well. So this is a little bag that I got from Target. This is the Sonia Kashuk Foldover clutch. They still have these available, not in this particular pattern because I have had this a while, but they are still available in other designs. She always comes out with really cute ones a couple times a year. But this is really convenient, especially for nail care supplies because of its design. So it's just got a little flap here, and then it's got two sections, which makes it really convenient. So I keep all of my liquids here on top, and then I've got a lot of tools here in the bottom. So this little bag has just about everything that I need for an at-home manicure or pedicure, with the exception of the nail color that I happen to be using that day. For today's manicure, I am using Essie Smokin' Hot, which has been a favorite as of late. I keep reapplying this fall and winter. I absolutely love this color. I tend to do all of my manicures at home. I will go for a professional pedicure about once a year. I think they do a much better job than I do, so they will sort of get me back to square one, and then I will do my maintenance throughout the year on my own. I will do a manicure about once a week if I can, and then a pedicure every 2 or 3 weeks depending on how often I need it. So let's just go ahead and go inside this little bag here and I will show you what I've got. So in the top, as I mentioned in the opening, I've got my liquid products here, and then I have tools here on the bottom. So I'm just going to go ahead and start up here and show you what I've got. So I've got a little bottle of nail polish remover. This says Zoya Remove, but it's not. I just refill it with whatever I can find. I'm not very particular because I have purchased expensive remover before and it caused my nails to peel and break. So I'm not a big believer in that, but I do try to buy a strengthening version of whatever I get and then just refill it. It's the only thing that mostly fits in this bag, with the exception of the top sticking out just a tiny bit there. Then I also have Sally Hansen Complete Care. This was actually recommended to me by a friend here on YouTube. She said that this might be a great idea for my peeling nails, my dry brittle nails that I have. Earlier this year I had a real problem with that, especially when we were doing some construction here around the house and my nails were staying kind of wet all the time and exposed to a lot of chemicals. So this was a real lifesaver for me, and now I use it as a primer before I do any of my manicures. This does a good job of strengthening my nails and just keeping the manicure nice for a lot longer period of time, so I really like that product. Next I have, this is Sally Hansen Problem Cuticle Remover. This is really great for prepping your cuticles before you're going to remove them. So I'll put this on my nails. I follow the directions, leave it on about 3 to 5 minutes, and then I can push my cuticles back and trim them from there. This is a really nice product because it's not messy and it's very easy to dispense and work with. The next thing I have, well, let me just go ahead and take these out. I just keep a few cotton rounds in so I can have those for removing anything that I may have on my nails. Next, this is a holy grail product for me. This is Out the Door. I purchased this at Sally Beauty Supply. It's the only top coat that I really ever use. It makes your nails dry very quickly so you can get back to whatever you're doing. Your nails are somewhat budge proof within about 5 minutes. They're not totally gouge proof at that point, but it's safe enough to go ahead and start doing things. I would still give it at least 20 to 30 minutes before you're completely in the clear, but this works faster than anything else that I've used, and it keeps my nails looking really nice and glossy and protected for up to a week, I would say. The next thing that I have here is also from Essie. This is, well, that wasn't Essie, but this is now Essie. This is Essie Apricot Cuticle Oil. The main thing that I really like about this is just that it has a little brush, so it makes it really easy to brush onto my cuticles when my manicure is done. I sort of like the delivery method, and I like the smell of the apricot. It's a really nice product. It does a nice job at keeping them soft and healthy looking. And then I have another base coat. This isn't one of my favorites, but it is something I'm trying to use up. This is from Revlon, I believe. Is it? Yes, Revlon Quick Dry Base Coat. This is a very nice product. I don't have a real problem with it. It's just not my favorite. Now that I've been using this Sally Hansen product, this is definitely my preference. Okay, now let me go ahead and go into the bottom here, and I will show you what I like to keep on hand for tools. Flip this around. So the first thing that I have, of course, is just a nail file. I buy these at Sally Beauty Supply as well. I really like to get my manicure products there when I can because they just have such a good selection and good prices. I don't know that I've chosen the exact right nail file, but this one really works for me. But this is a medium 100-180 grit. So I've got a fine grit on one side and then a much coarser grit on the other. The coarse grit I only use on my toes, and the fine grit is what I primarily use for my hands. I've also got a little buffing block. I don't use this very often. A little, or once in a while I would get a little bit of ridges on my toes, so sometimes I will try to buff those out just a little bit. I've also got a trimmer. This is one of the ones that you can kind of trim from the side. This way I find that's a little bit easier, especially doing pedicures. And then I've got a little plastic pusher. This has a rubberized tip on it. I picked this up at Walgreens, and I actually prefer it to the metal pusher that I've had before. I don't know why I really like this. I think it's just a little bit easier to use than the metal pusher that I had. This was really inexpensive. I think it was about 80 cents, and it wasn't with the nail care items where you would typically find at Walgreens. It was just sort of like in a bin on its own, but I have a couple of these and I really like them. Next, I have a little tiny pair of nail clippers if I need those for a hangnail or something. I have an orange wood stick. I don't use this all that often, but it is sort of nice sometimes if you get something caught underneath your nail and need to remove it. And then my favorite nail care tool, let me show you, that's everything that's in here as well, but this is really my favorite thing that I have. I almost use this every single day. These are from Deborah Lippmann. They are Cuticle Nippers. Tweezerman also makes some. I'm actually going to be purchasing a new pair because I kind of ruined these trying to sharpen them on my own. So that might be a future video where I figure out how to sharpen these the proper way and then bring you a video on that because I'd like to know. But I cannot live without these. These are such a fantastic tool to have. They are very sharp, you have to be careful, but they just get in really close and really grab even the finest cuticle. I use them not only for cleaning up my cuticles, but also if I've made a little bit of a mistake and I've got a little extra polish, it kind of can go in there and get those little mistakes off as well if you're really careful with it. But these are just my favorite thing. I use them all the time. I'm always getting some little sort of pull or hangnail or something, and these have such a fine point on them and they're so sharp, they're just a pleasure to use. I think I'm going to try the Tweezerman version next just to see how I like those, but I would definitely recommend these Deborah Lippmann version if you need something and you want to order it from Sephora. So before I get to the demo, I just wanted to share with you a few more things that are part of my nail and hand care routine. So every night before I go to bed, I like to moisturize my hands. The first thing that I actually do before bed is moisturize my face, and most nights I am using my Retin-A cream, and you may be wondering why that's important for my hands, but what I like to do is to moisturize my hands right after I use this. So there's a little bit of this still on my fingertips and the palms of my hands, and I will add a little bit of my current favorite hand lotion, and then I will rub that Retin-A cream all over my hands. It just keeps my hands really soft, so I like using this. And might as well not let this go to waste when you're already having it on your hands. This is what I'm keeping on my bedside currently. This is the Gold Bond Ultimate Fragrance Free, and this is with Hydrolast. I guess this is just the healing version of it, but it was a little bit too thick for me to use on my body for every day because I like that Aveeno lotion, but this is really nice for my hands. It's done a really good job of keeping them hydrated, especially because it's been a little bit drier here lately, and I like that it's fragrance free, so I really enjoy this product. And then when my hands get really dried out, which happens a lot lately, I like to use my grandmother's hand cream. I brought you a video about this a long time ago, which is my most popular video of all time. My grandmother gave me the recipe. She makes her own hand cream, and this stuff is the best. This is the super duper stuff you need when your hands and feet are really dry. What I like to do when my feet especially get very dry is to slather this on and then put on socks, and I will do that on my hands as well, and by the time you wake up in the morning, it's like you've had a little overnight spa treatment. So I will link to the video for this below if you'd like to make it. It's not expensive. It makes quite a bit, and it also makes great gifts. So let's go ahead and get to the demo. I'm going to start off this manicure with clean naked nails and grab my little bag of goodies here that has all of the supplies that I need to do my manicure. So I've got the liquids that I mentioned there on top and then all of my tools on the bottom. So the first thing that I'm going to grab out of here is my nail file. That's where I like to start off all of my manicures. I try to be careful with this because I do have a problem with my nails peeling. So I try to go from just one direction over to the other side. I try not to saw back and forth, and that seems to help a little bit. So I'm going to go through and do that on both hands, and then it will be time to remove my cuticles. For my cuticles, I'm going to be using the Sally Hansen Problem Cuticle Remover. I put a little dot of this on each of my nail beds, then I massage it in and let it sit about 3 to 5 minutes per the instructions. Once that time has passed, I just remove any excess product with a tissue, and then it's time to start pushing back my cuticles gently. So I use my little plastic and rubber tipped cuticle pusher, and I push at the back of the nail beds and on the sides, and then I will just push a little bit gently underneath the nail bed as well. And then I will go in with my cuticle nippers and clean them up. My cuticle nippers are by far my favorite manicure tool. They are so nice to work with. They are very sharp, so you do need to be careful. But if you just apply a little bit of pressure and go in gently, you can lift that extra cuticle that you push back off really easily. And I just like to go around each nail and just try to clean it up as best I can. I find that this makes for a lot neater and cleaner manicure. The darker the polish I'm going to be wearing, the more careful I am about cleaning up these cuticles because it seems to show everything. It's time to prep for color. So my current favorite nail primer is the Sally Hansen Complete Care. This is a nail strengthener and also a primer and top coat. I just use it as a primer. I will put one thin coat of this on all of my nails before I apply color. It's really been keeping my nails strong and also helps my color seem to last a little bit longer. Now that my nails are primed, it's time to polish. So the color I've chosen for today's manicure is Essie Smokin' Hot. This is my favorite color of this past fall winter seasons. I absolutely love it, but it is one of those darker colors that you do have to be careful with. I've really taken the time to prep my cuticles for this color, and it does need 2 full coats. They don't have to be thick coats, but they do need to be applied evenly in order for this color to be opaque. So I'm going to go ahead and take my time and do 2 coats on these nails, and then I will be ready for the top coat. My top coat is a long-time favorite. This is Out the Door. The best thing about this is that there is no wait time. You don't have to wait for your polish to dry before you apply the top coat, and also it dries very, very quickly. So you do need to be careful for at least 5 full minutes after you apply this, but you can go about your day pretty quickly. It won't be completely gouge proof, but it is set. The final step in my at-home manicure is to apply a little bit of cuticle oil to all of my nail beds. So this is the Essie Apricot Oil, and I will just brush this on lightly to all of my cuticles. And then once I'm certain that my nail color is dry, I will just massage it in gently, and that completes the manicure. So that is a look at all of my favorite hand and nail care products and also a demonstration of how I like to use them. I hope that you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for voting for this on Instagram, and I will bring you those other videos that were requested coming up soon. I thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you very soon. Bye-bye.